Hello and welcome to City Beat. I am your host Greg from the Lewiston City Library. Joining me today is Tim Barker. Tim, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you, Tim. Pleasure to have you. So, Tim, what exactly is your role within the City of Lewiston?
I am the Parks and Rec Director for the City of Lewiston, and to a lot of people, they're not quite sure what exactly that role means. We have a number of different areas that we oversee within our department. We have, obviously, 22 maintained parks that we have, over 300 acres that we maintain as well within the city. Good amount of parks comparative to a lot of other communities, which is great. We have a full array of recreation services and programs that we offer. Senior nutrition is another area that we have. So we serve meals 3 days a week on site, and then we have 5 days a week that we offer home delivered meals, but also provide for the weekend. We also oversee an urban forestry program. Normal Hill Cemetery is under our direction, and the aquatics program, so our 2 different pools, seasonal pools that we have. And then finally, our building maintenance for the city. We maintain 20 different facilities. So a lot of things going on.
Absolutely. It sounds like a really full plate. Really full plate.
It is.
So the city just began its fiscal year 2015. What are some things that your department has, some projects on the horizon for the coming months?
So a lot of what we're looking at over this next year is planning for the future. So we have 2 different master plans that we're looking at developing. One is our cemetery master plan at Normal Hill Cemetery. The cemetery is desperately in need of looking towards planning towards the future. We also have Bryden Canyon Golf Course. A lot of people know that Jeff Bryony is the manager of the facility, and they contract that, but it's through the city, so it's actually a city facility. And so we're looking at doing some future planning up there, looking at some land that we might be able to utilize in different ways to be a little creative. We have obviously the Mountain Dew Skate Park has been very popular over this last year. We've had a lot of interest in developing a separate facility for potentially like scooters or bicycles, and pump tracks are a big deal these days if you're not familiar with them. Basically a course set up where once you get your momentum going, you don't need to pedal or anything to get through it. It pushes you through. So we're looking at bringing in a pump track. We've actually got one on order, so should be here by November, which will be great. Sunset parking lot is probably, the Sunset Park is probably one of our most popular facilities. And so we're looking at doing an expansion to the parking lot, about 50 to 60 slots, some curb gutter sidewalks, so then there's a safe route in from the neighborhood along that roadway, but very popular area. And then obviously the big picture that we're looking at is community park development.
Oh, sounds like a lot of things going on.
Just
really.
a couple.
Just a couple. You mentioned that pump track. I actually saw that in the paper a little while back. It looks really neat. Where are you guys, is there already a spot picked out where that's going to be placed for folks to enjoy it? Yeah,
the tough part about locating that facility is we've looked at a few different sites. One of the obvious and easiest routes to go would be to use a tennis court. The city currently has 4 tennis courts that we maintain. There's a number, about 7 different facilities in the valley. So that's one option that we're looking at, is initially placing it on a tennis court because it's nice to have that soft surface. We prefer to not put it on a grass area because then you can't necessarily in a scooter ride up to the facility. Plus we'd like to add a couple additional features to it. But the latest spot we're kind of earmarking and looking at is down at Rotary Park, which a lot of people don't know exactly where Rotary Park is. It's at the end of Southway and Snake River Avenue, right where the roundabout is at, the new one that was put in last year. So looking at pouring a 60 by 60 asphalt slab and placing it there because that's a park that we're eventually going to develop. So it would be nice because it's along the levee pathway system, plus it's close proximity to where the skate park is at.
Oh, absolutely. It sounds like a pretty good spot. Yeah. And it looks like fun, actually. I've never been a scooter guy myself, but
it is. I've actually ridden on a bicycle on a pump track, the similar pump track at a conference I had gone to, and it's quite fun.
Ah, it looks like it. It looks like it. So, me being a Normal Hill resident, I'm kind of interested. You mentioned the master plan for the Normal Hill Cemetery. Can we talk a little bit more about that?
Sure, yeah. The cemetery was originally moved from Pioneer Park. A lot of people don't understand the cemetery was originally in Pioneer Park before it became a park. And so in 1888 is when Normal Hill Cemetery became a reality and started development there. The biggest issue we're facing at this point now is we're almost fully built out at the cemetery with the land that we currently have. We have almost 20,000 burials that have occurred there. We have 7 acres of undeveloped land at that site. potentially some other areas. Right now we just do traditional burials, and again, as far as technology's gone and trends within the cemetery industry, we're not keeping up at this point. And so developing a master plan would really help us, really bring us up to the newest stage. And so looking at things like cremation gardens, cremain niches, looking at different features that we could potentially put in there would be great. So what we're going to be looking for is a company to come in and really do a full master plan design of that facility, as well as looking at some of the way that we manage the site now. We currently don't have office hours at the facility. We do have some staff there, but looking at what our best options are to help serve the public better.
Oh, it sounds like a good plan. So you had mentioned earlier community park as an earlier project for earlier this year. Can you go ahead and describe kind of the site and location and kind of maybe the history and what you hope to accomplish over the coming years?
Sure, yeah, and of the projects that we're probably going to be working on over the next few years, this is probably going to be the one that we're going to try to incorporate the community in most. It's a 310-acre site behind Ziggy's and Potlatch Credit Union off of Warner up in the Orchards. 170 of the acres are city-owned. The rest is owned through the tri-partnership, which includes LCSC and the school district. And so as far as what we're looking at doing is we're really trying to co-locate a lot of our athletic facilities. What a lot of people don't realize is some of our sites that we have now, a majority of them aren't on city-owned property. So our fields in North Lewiston are owned by the Corps of Engineers. Harrith Park and our softball field up there are on Lloyd property. And Airport Park and Hathaway Ball Field are on airport property. So at any time, these organizations could take over this property or develop it themselves. Some of those are actually on leases also. So what we're looking at is not only just locating everything in one spot, but eliminating those leases that we're paying to these other organizations and putting that towards development. So anything from adult softball, youth baseball, soccer, a potential aquatic facility. We're looking at all sorts of options, and what we plan to do is hold a number of public meetings besides what our regular meetings are to get some input from the community on what they would like to see and the features they'd like to see in that facility.
Great, and I do know that this past summer there was a really fun activity out there. The mud run, it looked like it was really popular. And
yeah.
Is that something that might continue to occur on that site?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, of the 310 acres, we have 170. Even if we fully develop our 170, a lot of that is actually in the canyon area there too, so there's nothing saying we can't utilize the canyon for a run. It's amazing during the summer to see that there's actually people down there utilizing that now, our cross-country runners. But yeah, mud runs, obviously what we try to do with that property up there is utilize it as best we can at this point. We've got the corn maze, Clearwater corn maze is up there right now. So again, any feature that we can do or any community event that we can provide up there, we're looking towards all sorts of options.
And it is a great site. I mean, for folks who haven't visited it, it's really neat to be able to get out there and great vistas and
Right.
really neat open spaces. And I'm looking forward to a corn maze.
Yeah, it's fun. I went out there this last weekend with my daughters. It was great.
Good deal. So what are some ways the public can contact you or make comments about projects, what's happening around the area?
Well, I'd mentioned public meetings. We're specifically for Community Park, we'll probably hold kind of town hall type format meetings where it'll be specifically focused on public input regarding Community Park, and we'll probably have some layout design type stuff, options, and just get some ideas of what the community really wants to see. At this point, we're not sure exactly how we plan to fund the development of that site, whether it's through a revenue bond or a levy. We're still looking again at those options. There may be some internal funding that we might be able to do here and there, but obviously figuring out what our ultimate plan would be for that is kind of our first goal, and then obviously including the public, like I said, within that. So those meetings, we have 3 different commission meetings that people can participate in. During public comments, we have Parks and Rec Commission, our Urban Forestry Cemetery, and then our Youth Commission. Also have City Council work sessions, City Council meetings. So there's a number of different varieties that are out there now. Our offices are located down at the community center, so they can come in there, contact us through Facebook. We're Lewiston Park Rec on Facebook, so any comments they want to publish on there. give us a call at the community center at 746-2313. So city website, cityoflewiston.org, any way that they want to. There's a comment section on the front page for that as well.
Great. Was there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers today? Anything else?
The only other thing wanted to bring up is we've got our fall program guide that we've done jointly with the library. So it just came out beginning of last month. Lots of programs. We have 14 different new programs in there, anything from youth, adult. We've got a lot of fall and winter adult sports that are advertised in there. Lots of senior trips now. Our 50+ and active programs are getting busy, so lots of things to do.
And where can folks find these winter guides?
They're located,
guides.
yeah, they can find them at City Hall, the police department, at the community center, at the library. Most city facilities have them, or they can contact us at the phone number again and get a hold of us, and we'll get one sent out to them.
Well, great. Well, Tim, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, as always.
Thank you.
Thank you
It's
for
always
being
great
here.
to be here.
And on behalf of my guest, Tim Barker, and the rest of us here at City Beat, we hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time.